What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today I'm going to try to provide all of you with some tips and tricks in League Match so you can get the most amount of points possible for you. Now, other than spending extra rubies to try to refresh this, which is not something I would recommend any of you doing, you get 3 tries for this. And if you do decide to spend rubies, whenever League Match or whenever KOF first came to Global, I would spend all kinds of rubies trying to get up to the top rank. It's not worth it. The cost to reward ratio, as far as how many rubies you're going to spend to how many rubies you're going to get, is bad. It is a terrible return on investment. Don't do it, my friends. Just play the 3 fights and say it is what it is. That's the first tip I tell any of you. The second one is to make sure you use a team that has some synergy. Now, I am running Nesquio on this team, which has no synergy at all, but Keo is so good for balance week because he has super armor, he has interrupt skill, he has hyper armor, he has lots of burn. He's just a really great character, lots of PG rate for this league. So that's why I'm going to be using him. There's a lot of other characters you could use. This team I'm going to be using. Now, I am going to be using BS Orochi. I mean, he's a balanced type fighter, which is all we can use this week. And then we're also using 97 Orochi, who actually does benefit from BS Orochi's leadership. So you want to make sure you use a good leadership that's going to synergize with the rest of the team. If you're using all attack, then you'd want to use Iori, and so on and so on. One tip that you can do is the card sets that you put on these characters. So the first character that you're going to use, whatever character you know that you're going to use first, you want to put a card set on them that is going to work well with them. Now, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different today, where we're actually going to be using the Rio set. And the reason I'm going to be using the Rio set is because I want to try to hopefully build PG for my other team members. If I do that, that'll be the faster that they can do their PG. And if they do their PG, their ultimate skill, we won't take any damage. Now, there is one caveat. If someone is using a Leah set, which a lot of people are, then you will get reflected and there's nothing you can do. You're going to take damage no matter what with that because it bypasses immunity, the whole spiel. So you want to make sure that, and there's really nothing you can do about that. There's you just got to roll with the punches when it comes to that kind of thing. You also want to make sure that you're using characters that have super armor and immunity, or just hyper armor. That's very, very important. Characters that have hyper armor, that's immunity and super armor all at the same time, especially like an interrupt skill like BS Orochi. There's plenty of characters, guys, even like Nakaruru has super armor and immunity in her kit. It's just not hyper armor, which is all in one skill. These are the OP things that you want to see, because when you can use your hyper armor, like when they first bring in a character, they're going to try to attack you and go into their skills. If you have hyper armor, they can't do nothing to you. The only thing they can do is really build up your PG. So your objective is either dodge them or try to build up your PG as fast as possible. And that's really why I want that Rio set on. It's not really the optimal set. In all honesty, there's plenty of Fest sets that I could slap on BS Orochi that'd be better. But where I'm experimenting, I'm going to try something a little bit different. Then for 97 Orochi, we're actually going to run the KS set. Now, the KS set's actually freaking insane for these characters because it actually gives you super armor when you're getting tagged in. 5 seconds of super armor. So a lot of times when your character's dropping down, the opponents will hit you in mid-air. They can catch you sometimes, and they are so strong that they can just one-shot you. So having super armor means you're not going to get interrupted, you're going to fall to the ground, and you're going to be able to immediately go into your hyper armor skill, which you should have available, or your immunity. That's very important. So if you already have super armor and you got a character with just damage immunity, then you can just hit their damage immunity skill, and you more or less got hyper armor all at the same time, right? It's not exactly hyper armor, but you're getting super armor and immunity all at the same time. And I want that. Even though 97 Orochi does have hyper armor skill, I want to be able to fall and make sure I don't take any damage. Now, you could also use certain option cards as well for this. There are option cards in the game that are available that do offer super armor when you're tagging in. You have the My Option card right here, but it's only good for the females when we're running with nothing but males. But, if I was running with Nakaruru and I only bring her up because she is a Sam Show character, you could use that on her, which would be pretty cool. Or any other balance type like Rachel. She's another great one for balance week. Or even a Pretty Clone now. Pretty Clone, ever since she's buffed, she's got immunity and super armor. She'd actually be a really good candidate for that as well. And then you also have the 7 Knights option card, wherever it's at. There it is. This one here also grants super armor when you're tagging in. That works on any character. So really, I could just put that card on Orochi here and maybe give him an Akane set so he do that much more damage. But we're just going to run with the KS set because it's actually synergizes really well with a balanced type fighter because they have fairly high defenses. And then Kyo here is pretty much the same thing as 97 Orochi. I just want to have a KS set, so I have that super armor tagging in. Again, I could just put one of them option cards on him. But Kyo does have an interrupt skill, so actually, the thing is, if they do hit you and they knock you up in the air, you can't use your interrupt skill until you're on the ground. If you're not on the ground, you can't use your interrupt skill. If they keep you up in the air, and like I said, man, they can just one-shot you. These characters are so freaking strong that it's not even funny. And I'm using, of course, BS Orochi. That's going to be my big heavy hitter. And then I do have Nesquio and 97 Orochi to get it done. Now, we can't use strikers. If I could use strikers, I'd either use PG strikers or stun strikers. Oh, and speaking of which, stun. There's always a chance you might come in here and face characters that have stuns. And if you do face characters that have stuns, a great card to try to help avoid that or slow it down or decrease the duration is actually what I should be saying, is the Yashiro card. This is an amazing card because it'll actually decrease the stun duration by 49%. And if you have a character that has 30% stun duration, guess what? That goes up to about 80% stun duration. Which Kyo here, this is another reason I want to use Kyo, it's because he has 30% stun duration, he has 60% freeze duration decrease. You got balanced type fighters in here, you got Kula. I mean, you just never know. So whenever you're facing these kind of CC effects, it's good to have a character that can avoid them. If I put that Yashiro card on him, he would decrease the stun by 80%. Let's jump in here. Let's do this. You always want to start with your big heavy hitter. Since 97 Orochi and Nesquio had the KS sets, we're going to go ahead and start with BS Orochi. And there's times I can do it with just BS Orochi. There's times I can't. But you see Rachel there at level 50? She's a monster, my friends. Godly. Her burn damage is stupid. Now watch, she's probably going to have super armor almost immediately. So what we're going to do, right? Okay. And back up, back up. And boom, boom. But sometimes you gotta dodge and you gotta avoid the characters. Did we get it perfect? I think we got it perfect. Yeah, and that's exactly what you want. So I just gained 300 points. Also, you want to make sure you're facing the hardest level available, which is the Infernal. So we're going with Orochi again. Now, Katsura there's got a stun. Kami can be a real pain in the butt. Even though he's level 10, he can be a little pain in the butt. So we got to be really careful. Gentoki almost always starts with his first skill. So we're going to see if we can get this guy. So there we got our 3 PG built up. We're just going to go ahead and hit it. This is one really awesome thing about BS Orochi. By the way, guys, you could also use your PG cards as well. And choo. And boom. And that's the beautiful thing about having a character like BS Orochi is that they can pretty much destroy everyone on their own. But if we take any dot damage, we will take damage. And that's something you want to avoid at all costs, if at all possible. We'll try it one more time. So now we got another BS Orochi. We got Rachel, so we got to worry about that burn. And then we got Gentoki, and we got to worry about that bleed. So the goal, I mean, you're trying to get all perfects. You're trying to get as many points as possible. That way you can get more rubies at the end of the week. The higher your rank, the more rubies will be available for you. Okay, back up, back up. There we go, there we go. Now, I think I just took a little damage. I'm not sure. I didn't really notice if I did or not. There we go. Booyah. As soon as you feel like you're in danger, switch your character. Switch them, use their hyper armor immediately. Or if you got a character with immunity super armor, hopefully you're using a character that you can just use your immunity, canceling your super armor, something like that. So not too shabby at all. And this is exactly what you want to do. Sometimes people get really nervous when they're playing this and they're being attacked. Man, switch your character and go straight to your next character and attack. And if that character gets low, switch to the next character. And again, guys, if you are using the PG cards, this is another little tip I can throw out there at you. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. If you have like any of these PG cards, like the Yantama ones here, or the 7 Nice ones here, those are really great cards too. If you put one of those on each of your characters, you're going to build up your PG even faster. And again, the faster you build up your PG, the better. You can see though, I used it a little bit, but I mainly was relying on just timing my skills and knocking the living hell out of my opponents. So let me know how you're all doing in League Match. And yes, we got our boy Haramawa still on the screen. We'll see if we get that Samsung collab or if we get something else. I mean, we really have no idea, but the countdown continues, my friends. So again, let me know how you're all doing in the game. Let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten. And I stream on Twitch at 9 a.m. GMT plus 7 time, Monday through Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.